So hey guys, I'm actually waiting outside of one of my clients' locations, and I want to talk to you a little bit about modern diesel pickup trucks. But I'm out in the truck today, and I wanted to address kind of a topic and a comment and a conversation that's an ongoing one every time I post a video about a specific newer truck versus perhaps older diesels that are on the market. First of all, I agree with a lot of people that the 7.3 liter Power Stroke as well as the 5.9 liter 12 valve Cummins are great engines. You take all the emissions away from diesel engines, and yes, you really not only give the engine more opportunity to work better, but at the same time, less items that could potentially break. EPA has really tightened down on diesel vehicles. That being said, my opinion has not changed at all on newer diesel engines being the way to go. You look at 2013 and newer engines, and let's, for the sake of argument, compare the newest of engines, 2016, 2017 diesel engines from GM, Ram, or Ford. These engines are producing more power stock than diesel engines from 10 years ago could ever have dreamed of. To produce the same amount of power, you can easily add thousands of dollars worth of equipment, as well as transmission modifications, rear end modifications, programming, and equipment to a older diesel vehicle to make it perform like a newer diesel one. However, that's essentially what you're doing. You're adding thousands of dollars to an older diesel engine to get it anywhere near the stock horsepower and performance of a modern diesel engine or a 2016, 2017. Now, I know that if you have a 99 7.3 liter Power Stroke F250, F350 parked out in your driveway, or an older Cummins parked out in your driveway, you're going to be fiercely loyal to that engine. You are going to defend it till the end of your day, and you will claim that it is the best diesel engine ever built. And I'm not going to disagree with you when those engines first hit the market. When you look at all of the current diesel engines from Ford, GM, and Ram, they are outstanding diesel engines. Even with the emissions crap, they still are generally going to be more reliable even in the long run. You may make the claim that you have a 7.3 liter diesel or a 5.9 liter Cummins and you have 400,000 miles on them and you haven't had any major problems. But the reality is you've had to do work on those engines over those 400,000 miles to keep them going the way that they're going now. You can take a lot of these newer diesel engines, you can go to fleets and you can see that 99% of the engines that they have in their trucks are going 300,000 miles easily. And these are newer trucks. The other variable that a lot of people don't ever take into consideration is that there are a ton more new diesel trucks on the road than there were ever sold back in the 90s and early 2000s. Trucks have dominated the car sales market in the United States. Diesel pickups are pretty much the only 3/4 ton up trucks that are sold. They're the volume engine now sold in Super Duties, heavy duty trucks from Ford, Ram, and GMC. So when you look at the percentage of failure rates or the percentage of problems that you're going to have with a modern diesel engine over an older one, let's say they sold 10,000 units or 10,000 trucks back in 1999 and 1% had a failure rate. Well, back then you didn't have all sorts of forums, you didn't have all sorts of places that you could go and complain about it and make your voices heard. Now, if there's a 1% failure rate across new diesel engines, you're going to hear about them everywhere. You're going to hear about it on every Dodge, every Ford, every GM forum out there. You're going to hear it published on other articles and blogs. Everybody's going to talk about it. So it's not really fair to compare a current diesel engine in the sense of the complaints. But the reality is, if you do not modify your engine and you have a newer diesel pickup truck, and that diesel pickup truck is maintained properly, you put quality diesel fuel in it, you change the fluids in it, you maintain your batteries. Besides small minor things, maybe an EGR sensor going out on it, maybe needing to replace fuel filters, maybe you need to replace your battery every 100,000 miles. But the fact is that newer modern diesel engines are going much, much longer than older diesel engines before major components start to fail. And we're talking from a percentage perspective. What I would challenge you to do is go out and talk to folks who have traded their trucks in, have traded their 7.3 or their 5.9 in for a newer Ram or a new Chevy or a new Ford. And talk to them and ask them, because when you look at the forums and the boards and you see people who have upgraded to a new diesel truck, you'll clearly see that the new diesel trucks are far more reliable than people give them credit for. I am not knocking folks who have old trucks. I think older diesel trucks are great, especially if you maintain it. If it's getting the job done and you're happy with it, then keep it. There's absolutely no reason to try to go and upgrade. This whole conversation is based around folks who believe that new diesel engines are crap, which is entirely inaccurate. New diesel engines, if properly maintained, you change the fluids, you do all the stuff that you would have to do to your older trucks, except maybe a few more things, such as diesel exhaust fluid, as well as the potential that maybe an EGR sensor or something like that may go out a little prematurely. If you take that into consideration, your newer diesel trucks should easily be able to hit 350, 400, 450,000 miles before experiencing any type of major failure. You know, a testament to that is when we bought our first travel trailer, the hauler that brought it down from Indiana had a F350. It was a 2011 model F350, and he had 650,000 miles on that truck. 650,000 miles on an F350 single rear wheel truck. I think he had one injector that went bad during that entire time and a few other minor things, but nothing that would make him believe that the truck wasn't reliable. And he has a towing business. That's all they do. They tow RVs all over the country. So you have to put in perspective the percentages of trucks that are on the road versus the percentage that are being complained about. There are multiple times more trucks being sold now as new vehicles than there were in the past, and that plays a huge factor into the percentages of people that will be complaining or having major issues with their vehicle. So, all that being said, my whole point with this video is new diesel engines, 2016, 2017, even all the way back to 2013, are phenomenally reliable engines. Very unlikely to give you any real problems. They can go for hundreds of thousands of miles without needing any major repairs done to them. The only issue you generally run across is because they're high-pressure fuel pump systems and because you have a system that is much more vulnerable to water intrusion or water damage. You want to avoid putting fuel in that potentially could be contaminated. And even then, the stories of people that have actually had injector failures due to water being in the system is a very tiny percentage. So I hope this video has been informative. If you're looking at buying a new diesel, and maybe you have an older one, maybe it's your first diesel, I don't want you to be scared to get into a newer diesel truck simply because you hear that it has all the emission systems and everything tied to it. Deleting the systems is a possibility in some places. In some places it's illegal. Even in Texas, there's areas where you can do it and there's areas where you can't do it. But government legislation is pretty much making it universally illegal just about everywhere. Cities are adopting a clean air policy to where they just don't allow you to remove that emissions equipment anymore. And by doing so, if you get ticketed, you can be fined up to $5,000 or $6,000 for that. So, hope this video has been informative. If it has, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up and if you subscribe. Thank you.